On the day when Leo's family company went public, the sponsored student drugged his drink. When I saw it, I warned her not to mess around. The sponsored student was so ashamed on the spot that she shouted, "You're slandering my innocence." Then she turned around and ran away, only to be accidentally killed by a car. When Leo found out about it, he just showed disgust. I sponsored her with money, and yet she was so shameless. 3 years later, on the day I married Leo, he drugged me and locked me up with several hooligans. In the end, I was toyed with and died a miserable death. Only then did I realize that he was deeply in love with the sponsored student, and that the drug on that day was just a game between them. When I opened my eyes again, I went back to the day when Leo's family company went public. This time, I'd like to see how they were going to play their little games. "Leo, congratulations," I said, handing the wineglass in my hand to Leo, my eyes shining bright. "Thank you also for sponsoring me all this time and inviting me to your celebration banquet." Leo glanced at her, then took the wineglass and replied, "Thank you." I just stood aside and watched him drink up the champagne in the glass, without going forward to stop him like I did in my previous life. In my previous life, after I discovered that she had drugged Leo's drink, I immediately ran over to stop Leo from drinking that glass of wine and angrily accused her of drugging him in public. In front of so many people, she was so ashamed that she cried and shouted at me, "You're slandering my innocence." She ran out of the hotel and was accidentally killed by a car. Leo just said casually, "I sponsored her with money, and yet she drugged me. She's so shameless. She deserved to die." However, 3 years later, on the night of our wedding, he drugged me with the same kind of drug. Eva, that glass of wine was a game between her and me. Why did you interfere? She is the woman I love the most in my life. This is what you get for killing her. He locked me, who was drugged, with several hooligans, and I was tortured to death by those hooligans. Intense hatred, humiliation, and pain surrounded me tightly. I took a deep breath and forced myself to calm down. As if sensing my gaze, Leo, who was holding the wineglass, looked in my direction. I curled up the corners of my mouth and smiled slightly. "Don't worry, Leo. In this life, I won't stop you from drinking this glass of champagne anymore. You can play your games as you like." After Leo finished the champagne, he raised his glass to me as a gesture. I also raised my glass and wished that he and she would be tied together for the rest of their lives. After about 10 minutes, Leo's face started to turn red. She took a glance at his face and left. She slightly raised her eyebrows at Leo with a hint of provocation in her expression. Leo gritted his teeth and silently took a deep breath, trying to calm himself down. He walked up to me, his thin lips slightly parted. His already deep voice was now a bit hoarse. "Hey, I have something to deal with. I'll leave this place to you for now. Please help me entertain the guests." I pretended to be concerned and asked, "Your face looks a bit strange. Are you feeling unwell?" The corners of Leo's mouth curled up slightly. The desire in his body must have already started to stir, but he could still maintain a gentlemanly demeanor. "I'm fine. Thank you for your trouble." I gave him an understanding smile. "Why are you being so polite to me? Go and deal with your business quickly." Leo nodded, took another look at me, greeted several other big shots, and then left. I continued to exchange pleasantries with the other big shots, but I kept an eye on Sissy's movements out of the corner of my eye. Almost another 10 minutes passed before she left the banquet hall. She was an inconspicuous figure originally, and nobody cared when she left. "Excuse me for a moment," I said, clinking glasses with the big shot in front of me, nodding my head, and then casually putting the wineglass on the tray held by a passing waiter and following her. In my previous life, I didn't let Leo drink that glass of champagne, and nothing happened after that. This time, when I followed her, I found out that the two of them were having an affair in my exclusive room. This hotel belongs to my family, and I have my own exclusive room. Nobody except me and Leo was allowed to enter it. Damn it, it's bad enough that he cheated on me, but he also dirted my place. I let out a long sigh and continued to observe silently. I also took out my mobile phone to record everything. She stopped at the door of the suite first. First, she tidied up her clothes and hair, and then she knocked on the door. The next second, the door of the suite opened. A big hand reached out, grasped Sissy's wrist, and pulled her in forcefully. The action was strong and domineering. The door closed, and Sissy's moans came out through the crack of the door. I walked over. The carpet in the corridor muffled my footsteps. After waiting for a while, I opened the door and went in. Clothes scattered all over the floor caught my eye at first sight. There were clothes of both men and women lying there ambiguously. I looked upstairs. Endless ambiguous sounds kept drifting into my ears. She giggled. Her voice was like silver bells as she playfully teased Leo. "You lost." Then came a burst of ambiguous kissing sounds. I heard the sound of the door opening and then went upstairs. Inside the room, there were still those inappropriate sounds of the two of them. Leo asked her to call him husband one moment and father the next. It was the first time I had seen such a wild side of Leo. After recording enough, I saved the video and then left. This suite will be demolished and renovated tomorrow and then opened to the public. Today was a big day for Leo. There were already many reporters waiting outside the hotel just to be able to take pictures of Leo's charm at the first opportunity. I came downstairs. Instead of going back to the banquet hall immediately, I called my assistant, Jojo, and whispered in her ear, "Find someone to bring a few reporters to my suite. Make sure they aren't recognized." Jojo has been following me since graduation. She's very capable and knows how to act appropriately. I trust her the most with this kind of thing. Jojo nodded and did as she was told. Soon, I let out a low sigh. Leo's father came to me with a solemn look on his face. "Come out for a moment." I pretended to be surprised and puzzled. "What's wrong, uncle? Has something happened?" Leo's father frowned and said in a low voice, "Come out first, and we'll talk about it." I pretended to be about to follow him out. It was at this time that Jojo rushed in. She looked hurried and flustered and shouted loudly, "There's a big mess. Leo and she were blocked by the reporters in your suite, President. You'd better go and have a look quickly." Leo's father was in a flurry. He wanted to cover Jojo's mouth and also wanted to cover my ears. Finally, he chose to get angry. "You little rascal. Don't worry, I'll definitely give you an explanation." Then he glared at Jojo and strode out. I stood there, putting on a sad expression. Many big shots came over. It was neither appropriate to comfort me nor not to comfort me in this kind of situation. In the end, they chose to praise me, saying that I was Leo's right-hand man and that it was thanks to my help over the years that Leo could reach this position today. But Leo had done something that was unfair to me. Right-hand man? I didn't think it was a compliment. If they wanted to praise me, they could just praise my abilities directly. I sighed and said, "Thank you. I hope we'll have the opportunity to cooperate in the future." The big shots raised their glasses to me naturally. Abba is outstanding among the younger generation. I also want my son to learn from you. I forced a smile, maintained the image of a victim, and thanked them gratefully one by one. I don't know how long it had been, but Leo was dragged in front of me by his father. On such an important day today, Leo happened to make such a big joke. It would be okay if nobody knew about it, but now everyone knew, and it had even reached the media. Leo's father was a smart man. He knew that he couldn't just sit around and wait for things to get worse. None of the people present could be silenced, so he simply chose to admit it openly and apologize. "You little rascal, apologize to Eva quickly." The flush on Leo's face hadn't faded yet. His hair, which had been neatly styled with hair gel before, was now messy. A few strands of loose hair were hanging on his forehead, and there were beads of sweat on it, indicating how passionate the experience he had just had was. As soon as he opened his mouth, his voice was terribly hoarse. He coughed slightly and then continued, "Let me explain." Leo's father said sternly, "I told you to apologize to ABA." Leo gritted his teeth. What he wanted to do most now was definitely to find a crack in the ground and crawl into it. Making a fool of himself in front of so many big shots, he couldn't preserve his image at all. In the future, when people mentioned him, they would probably say, "That guy whose company went public but couldn't control himself." The big shots were magnanimous, but they also liked gossip in private. Otherwise, how boring would life be? He clenched his fists, looked into my eyes, and his deep eyes seemed to carry a plea and a reminder. I'm sorry. Please forgive me this time." Was he asking me to save his face? I looked at Leo's father. To show his sincerity, Leo's father had someone bring over. "Iva, don't be angry. I'll leave this shameless woman to you to deal with." Today, the look on Sissy's face had been scattered by panic. She lowered her head and wept, not letting everyone see her face. It was too late to realize how embarrassing she was at this time. Leo felt sorry for the woman he loved the most and couldn't help saying, "Dad, she is a girl." In front of so many people, "Shut up." Leo's father growled. "IFA hasn't forgiven you yet." Leo took a deep breath and walked up to me. He reached out his hand, wanting to hold mine. I took a slight step back. Leo's dark eyes narrowed, and he lowered his voice. "Let's talk about this after the banquet is over." The other guests probably also wanted to continue watching the fun, but they were all quite tactful and made excuses that they had something to do and had to leave first. I don't know if they were giving me face or Leo face. My gaze shifted between Leo and her, and I said with a smile, Since everyone is here today, then I'd like to ask you all to be my witnesses." Hearing this, everyone stopped in their tracks. Leo stared at me with a warning look in his eyes, as if he wanted to ask me what I was going to do. I curled up the corners of my mouth and continued. "Since Leo and she are truly in love, then I'll step aside and help fulfill this couple." Leo's father hurriedly said, "This won't do." Leo stood in front of his father and was half believing and half doubting my words. "Eva, are you serious?" She was also incredulous, as if she hadn't expected that I would give Leo to her so readily. "Actually, it's just a man. If they had told me the truth in my previous life that they loved each other and asked me to fulfill them, I definitely wouldn't have pestered Leo. But they didn't. Leo couldn't let go of the benefits brought by our family, nor could he let go of Sissy's body, wanting both. I don't believe he truly loves her. After all, he's just an exquisite egoist. He loves nobody but himself. I died unjustly in my previous life. Although she knew that Leo was engaged to me and still got involved with him, she didn't deserve to die either. The one who deserved to die the most was Leo. In the sight of everyone, I slowly opened my mouth and said again, "If you two are truly in love, I'm willing to step aside." Leo's father reacted very quickly. "Ava, a marriage contract is no joke. Moreover, the marriage contract between you and Leo concerns the interests of both families." He didn't continue what he was going to say, but Leo also realized what was going on. He looked at her and, after a moment, his gaze finally fell on me again. "Ava, ending fulfilled le session. I apologize to you." I laughed and interrupted Leo. "I said you and she were true love to save you some face. Leo, don't you think that just because you cheated and caused such a big stir, I would still stick to this marriage contract?" Of course, I wasn't giving him face. I was showing my dignity in front of so many big shots. I always had to display my upbringing and magnanimity to the fullest. However, I couldn't just keep retreating, making everyone think that I was a pushover and could be easily manipulated by a few words. "The marriage contract between our two families is hereby terminated. Leo, be nice to her." I gave him another smile and then nodded to everyone and left. My parents were also present, but they didn't say a word from beginning to end. They just left following me. When I left, their silence was their silent support for me. You know, for families like ours, choosing an arranged marriage is naturally for the sake of benefits, aiming for 1 + 1 to be greater than 2. My parents didn't oppose my terminating the marriage contract, which meant that they didn't want the benefits from the union with Leo's family anymore. This was a signal telling everyone that Leo's family had offended ARA family and also telling everyone that it was Leo who destroyed this huge benefit because of his personal desires. How could a person dominated by his lower body achieve anything great? Early the next morning, I saw Leo as soon as I went downstairs. I stood on the stairs while he stood below, and our gazes met in midair. "What are you doing here?" I went downstairs and walked towards the living room. My father was sitting on the sofa reading a newspaper, and my mother was drinking coffee. Seeing me come down, my mother gracefully put down her coffee cup and smiled slightly. "Eva, Leo has been waiting for you here for almost an hour." My mother usually didn't speak to me in such a cold voice. As for my father, he just glanced at me and then his gaze fell back on the newspaper. Well, he was testing me. I looked at Leo with a smile. "What's the matter, AA?" "I'm here to apologize to you," Leo said seriously. It could also be seen how reluctant it was for him to swallow his pride and apologize to me. Poor him. I walked over and sat on the sofa, looking at him lazily. "Didn't I make it clear enough at the celebration banquet for your company's listing yesterday? Leo, we've terminated the marriage contract, and our two families will no longer cooperate." Leo took a deep breath. "Just because of me and her? Although uncle and aunt are also here, but I just made a mistake that any man would make. Do you have to be so exaggerated? Can the cooperation between our two families be terminated just like that?" I raised my eyebrows. "So are you willing to sacrifice your beloved for your career?" Leo was at a loss for words. He took a deep breath and said coldly, "I've already apologized, Ava. Don't be so willful anymore." My father coughed slightly and put down the newspaper. Usually a very easygoing person, he now looked imposing without even getting angry. "Leo, first of all, you have to admit that it's not my daughter's fault in this matter. Secondly, even if my daughter still wanted to be with you, her mother and I wouldn't agree. As parents, we are very satisfied with AA's performance this time." Seeing that my parents had said so, Leo knew that there was no room for redemption at all. He nodded. "Okay, since that's the case, I have nothing to say. Just, Ava, don't regret it." He left this sentence and strode away. Last night, on the big day of his company's listing, he cheated on me, which caused a big uproar and led to a sharp drop in the stock price of the newly listed company. Now, not only his family is very dissatisfied with this, but even the other shareholders of the company have a lot of complaints about this young master. Just when I was curious about how Leo would solve this public relations crisis, she stepped forward in front of the camera. She wore a light makeup that made her look like she had no makeup at all, and she was crying pitifully while recording the video. Over the years, it was Leo who had been sponsoring me so that I could complete my studies. But instead of being grateful to Leo, I even drugged him on the day of his company's listing last night. I spent the whole night in deep self-blame, so I decided to come forward and clarify this matter. The person Leo has always loved in his heart is AA from the AA family group. It was I who destroyed the relationship between her and Leo. Here, I would like to offer my sincere apology to Leo and Ava. Please forgive me. She bowed deeply to the camera. The video ended. I couldn't help but want to applaud. For Leo's sake, she was willing to admit all this. Not long after watching the video, Jojo came in. President, that Sai is here. She's downstairs and said she wants to see you. Didn't you tell her that I'm not available? Jojo frowned slightly. I told her, but she just refused to leave and has been waiting downstairs. I thought for a moment. Let her in. Jojo was puzzled. President, why are you still seeing her? I wasn't sure whether she came out to make the statement voluntarily or if Leo forced her by some means or maybe he brainwashed her. But was there a possibility that she had seen Leo's true face and wanted to cooperate with me? My enemy was Leo, after all. I would be happy to have an extra handy helper. Let her come up, I said again. Jojo went out and had someone bring her in. I didn't say anything and just looked at her. She scanned my office and then walked up to me, smiling smugly. A little sigh. Have you seen my apology video? I nodded. She sneered. You must be laughing at me, right? Before I could answer, she raised her chin. It's just a stopgap measure, you know. Leo promised me that if I came forward and took the blame on myself, he would marry me soon. Now, say I'll be Mrs. Leo. So you're not qualified to laugh at me. If you want to get something, you have to pay the corresponding price. But obviously, I won this time, and I won completely. She looked very smug, but behind her smugness, I saw deep inferiority. She was really trying to hold on. She volunteered to clean up Leo's mess and made herself a hated figure. She must also know her own sadness. I didn't hate her. You knew that I had a marriage contract with Leo. Why did you get involved? Did you ever consider my feelings when you were with Leo? She smiled dismissively and said matter-of-factly. What's wrong with me and Leo being in love? Why should I consider you? I raised my eyebrows and nodded. Okay, since that's the case, I don't need to worry about anything anymore. She frowned offensively. What do you mean? I took out my phone, found a video I recorded last night, clicked to send it, and then gave her a friendly smile. I've prepared a surprise for you. The marketing accounts were faster than rockets, and the video had been widely spread. Because only a little bit of the scene was recorded, it hadn't been blocked. The conversation between Leo and her echoed in my office. Oh, it was she herself who saw the video and played it. She widened her eyes, and her pupils were shaking. Why are you doing this to me, eh? You're also a woman. How could you spread such a video? I looked at her sympathetically. Hink to F Sasha, now you remember that I'm a woman? What did I ask you just now? Do you still remember? Sissy's eyes were filled with tears and hatred. Adiva Alai, you're too much. She cried and ran away. Am I too much? If she wants to think so, let her. I won't lose anything just because she blames me. Leo's call came in. As soon as I answered the phone, Leo's angry voice came from the side. Eden so FL Sai, you're too much. I sneered slightly. Your dearest woman just said the same thing to me. Don't you have anything new? Leo's voice was extremely low, and his tone was certain. You were the one who called the reporters last night. I slowly curled my lips, imagining Leo jumping with anger now. You can be with your dearest woman. How are you going to thank me? There was a silence on the other side of the phone, and then Leo's cold voice rang out again. I don't regret being with a woman like you. A woman like you will never be truly liked by any man. Me neither. I've never really liked you. So what if you win this time? In fact, you're the biggest loser. I was amused by his words and really laughed out loud. What have I lost? Lost your love? Lost men's love? Leo, is your love so valuable? You'd better spend this time explaining to your shareholders. See if they still like you. I couldn't stop laughing. What a cutie. How could someone value their own love so highly? I hung up the phone with a smile and shook my head. Although I admit that I did like Leo once, after all, we were childhood sweethearts, and our two families grew up together. But love is really not that important to me. This is also one of the reasons why I hate him. Why didn't he tell me clearly in my previous life? I would have really let him be with her. But he killed me in the cruelest way. I will never let him go. Once the video of Leo and Sissy's affair was released, the already declining stock price of Leo's family group suffered an even heavier blow. The next morning, when I opened my mobile phone, I saw the photos sent by Jojo. Jojo, here are the photos of the building of Leo's family group at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's brightly lit. I smiled and rubbed my forehead. Jojo was really something. It was just tough on the employees of Leo's family group, especially those in the public relations department. I guess they must be racking their brains out, wondering what perfect public relations strategies they could come up with. At 9 o'clock in the morning, Leo's family group issued a statement, officially announcing Leo and Sissy's relationship. Leo also posted a statement on his own account, saying that he and she were truly in love. He had decided that even if there were many difficulties ahead, he would break through them one by one and be with the woman he loved the most. She started a live stream, crying pitifully yet unable to hide the happiness and sweetness between her brows. I released the video yesterday without discussing it with Leo. After he found out, he even scolded me, saying that he would never allow me to do anything to hurt myself again and that he would take care of everything. So I think everything I've done is worth it. I'm just in love with someone. I'm not wrong. Love itself is fluid, isn't it? It's just that Leo's love has flowed to me and reached its destination. I also want to tell all the young people that if you're in love, be brave to pursue it. Come on, don't let yourself regret it. Moreover, it was obvious that Leo's family group had hired online trolls to post comments. Love is fluid, but Leo's love isn't. He only loves her. It's hard to see such pure love in this era. I moved to tears. I never believed in the Cinderella story before, but seeing Leo and her bravely in love like this, I believe it now. God, I won't call you Lord anymore because you never treated me fairly. You didn't give me such a good Leo. After reading these comments, Jojo finally spoke after a long while. Are these people serious? I've written them all down. When they get old, I'll sell them health products. I thought the public relations team of Leo's family group could come up with some good ideas. What they did wasn't just self-deception but plain self-delusion. Sure enough, it would have been better if they hadn't done any public relations work. Their efforts instead provided a playground for those who like to make fun of others. Passers-by didn't care about Leo and her situation at all. The comment section is hilarious. The scumbag cheated on his fiancée, and the girl knew he had a partner but still got involved. If this can be whitewashed as true love, then it's our generation's failure. The public relations team of Leo's family group could come up with such a lousy plan. I'm really worried that they'll be fired now. The only way for Leo to restore his image is to make all the nuclear wastewater flow back. Originally, I hadn't so filled my obsession. The heat of this matter would have died down in a few days, but now it seems that it won't go away for a while. Of course, I also contributed to this. It wasn't just Leo's family group that had online trolls. I had them too. The shareholders of Leo's family group were already dissatisfied with Leo, and now they couldn't wait to kick him out. These days, every time Jojo entered my office, she had a big smile on her face. When I saw her smiling, I couldn't help myself either. People who don't know might think that I've given you a raise. You're so happy. Jojo giggled. Of course, getting a raise would make me even happier, President. The latest news is that the major shareholders of Leo's family group have been putting pressure on Leo's family. Leo's position as president is in jeopardy. Vincent, the second largest shareholder, has long wanted to put his son in that position. He won't let this opportunity pass to trample Leo down. I had seen Vincent's ambition long ago. I had even reminded Leo before. Now it seems that Vincent and I are going to become allies. Arrange a meeting with Vincent. Jojo did as she was told. She came back soon. President, guess what? Vincent agreed immediately. He's probably eager to cooperate with you too. He's afraid that others will snatch this opportunity. He's invited you to meet in his private wine cellar at 7:30 this evening. I sat up a little straighter. It seems that the initiative is in my hands. At 7:30 in the evening, I arrived at the private wine cellar of the Vincent family on time. The staff led me in. When the door opened, the person in front of me wasn't Vincent but his son, Zachary. Here you are, Zachary said, pouring a glass of wine and handing it to me. It's made by me. Have a taste. I didn't reach out to take it but just looked at the glass of red wine. Zachary gently swirled the wine in the glass. Give me some feedback. I chuckled and looked up at him. My opinion is that if your Vincent family wants to cooperate with me, you and your father should show some sincerity. The beauty trap, at least, won't work with you. Zachary didn't get angry but laughed instead. Is AA's mouth smeared with honey? I put my bag on the mahogany table and sat down. Since your father asked you to meet me, I'll just tell you directly. I can help you get the position, but I want real benefits. I can have as many men as I want. Your Vincent family's men aren't that precious, right? Zachary laughed softly and also sat down. Since AA has said so, I won't make a fool of myself anymore. I don't want to make me worthless. I'll feel inferior too. I can make decisions on behalf of my father. After it's done, I'll give Eva 5% of the shares. I had been in a relationship with Leo for so many years but couldn't get a single share from him. Of course, at that time, I liked him and was sincere to him. I didn't care about these things. But it's different now. 7, I said. Zachary's eyes were filled with laughter. Eva has quite an appetite. Zachary, you won't lose out either, right? Zachary didn't say anything but handed the glass of red wine to me again. This time, I took it, clinked glasses with him, and drank it all in one gulp. After reaching the agreement, I left. Since it was a private meeting, it would be easy to be discovered if it took too long. At least for now, I didn't want people to know that I had cooperated with the Vincent family. After getting in the car, Jojo immediately told me some good news. President, I've already bought a lot of the scattered shares of Leo's family group. I nodded with satisfaction, calculating in my mind the shares that I could finally get. Of course, Zachary said that I had a big appetite, but I wasn't that greedy. Actually, you can't become fat with just one bite. Besides, if I went too far this time, who would dare to cooperate with me in the future? Now it's good. With the Vincent family's help, I can just sit back and reap the benefits. A few days later, Leo's family group officially announced that Leo and she had registered for marriage. This affectionate drama has to be continued by the two of them, even if they have to force themselves. Of course, Leo and she should be in the heat of love now. It can't be said that they're just acting. As for me, I hadn't shown up in public for a long time. After all, I'm the only victim in this love triangle. Sometimes it's necessary to play the victim to win sympathy. My disappearance didn't make the heat of this matter go down. Instead, it became even higher. People just love to watch the gossip among the wealthy families. As people say, the upper class can be the most vulgar. Nyson felt a sense of disappointment towards me, especially some female Nyson. Eva, are you defeated just like this? Weren't you tough when you released the video? I just regarded her as and then she let me down. Wake up, okay? Men are nothing. Focus on your career. We're all watching. As long as you stand up, we'll support you unconditionally. Hey, Eva, come out quickly. Girls who are alive are really charming, except, of course, male medicines. They were also extremely active. Honey, look at me. I'll be devoted to you. I'm determined to win you over in this life. Don't CET my wife. I'm taking good care of her. One Leo falls, and thousands of Leos rise. Sister, look at me. I don't want to work hard anymore. It's really relaxing to read the Nyson comments when I'm free. My mother saw them too and asked me, when do you plan to make a comeback tomorrow night? I was choosing a dress in the cloakroom. I can't keep everyone in suspense for too long. Otherwise, those girls who support me will really give up on me. There's a business reception tomorrow night, which is just right for my high-profile comeback. I wasn't surprised to see Leo and her at the reception. When Leo saw me, he held her even tighter. It's just a childish trick to make me angry. How could I take it seriously? I waited with a tray, passed by me, and took a glass of champagne. I walked to the boss at Chain Enterprise, Mr. Wang. Mr. Wang had always been interested in cooperating with Leo's family group before and asked me to help make the connection. But since Leo's affair, he hadn't mentioned it again. I clinked glasses with him and asked with a smile. How's the cooperation between Mr. Wang and Leo's family group going? Mr. Wang laughed. Thank you for your concern, me. I gracefully curled up the corners of my mouth. Uncle Wayne, if you want to continue cooperating with Leo's family group, I can help make the connection. After all, what everyone values is profit, right? Mr. Wang nodded. We chatted for a while. I couldn't occupy his time all the time, so I said goodbye and left. As soon as I turned around, I saw Leo and her wandering in front of me again. I simply ignored them and continued to exchange greetings with other big shots. But Leo and her just couldn't stay out of my sight. They were like flies, finally having so F my inside. When I came out of the washroom after washing my hands, Leo walked up to me alone. I sneered. Why are you alone? Where's your inseparable lover? Leo looked at me with contempt. Ava, do you know why I like her but not you? Take a look at your current appearance. Men all like gentle women. Where's your femininity? I was a bit speechless. Is this what you came to tell me by blocking my way? I nodded with satisfaction. Okay, you can keep thinking about who you like or dislike. Just don't waste your energy on other things. After saying that, I walked past him towards the banquet hall. Leo's voice rang out from behind. Do you want to cooperate with China Enterprise, Eva? China Enterprise wants to cooperate with Leo's family. You don't have any chance. I wouldn't remind him. Let him live in his own dream. But wouldn't it be too easy for him if he just died in his dream? That would make me unhappy. I still want to make him suffer a lot. Just after Leo left, she came up. She walked up to me with a smile. It could be seen that she wanted to look elegant and decent, but her performance was a bit greasy and affected. Hey, I'm Mrs. Leo now. How about that? You must hate me to death, right? The position of Mrs. Leo has been eyed by so many women, and finally, I got it. I understand that you all hate me, but you must be the one who hates me the most. After all, you were just a tiny step away from becoming Mrs. Leo, weren't you? This must feel really bad, right? I heard that you hadn't gone out for several days. Did you only dare to come out when the swelling around her eyes had gone down? It's just another petty trick. I have to say that Leo and she are really a perfect match. I raised my glass to her as a gesture. By the way, I almost forgot to congratulate you. Mrs. Leo, happy newlyweds. When will the wedding be held? Remember to invite all of us to your wedding banquet. She was feeling smug when a big shot who was quite friendly with me came over. Our Mrs. Leo is really something. Come on, let's all raise our glasses together and congratulate Mrs. Leo. Everyone present knew that she had become the mistress and managed to take the position. Since she wanted so much to be in the spotlight, then let her have it. It was at this moment that Leo came back. Seeing that she had become the focus and that everyone was looking at him with a somewhat ambiguous look, he wasn't stupid and immediately realized what was going on. First, he smiled and exchanged greetings with everyone, and then he took her away. I guess he wouldn't dare to bring her to such occasions for a while. With my help in making connections, Mr. Wang did reach a cooperation with Leo's family group. However, the one who signed the contract with him wasn't Leo, nor was it Leo's father, but Zachary. Zachary opened a branch company under Leo's family group. Now that he has won the project of Chain Enterprise, he will definitely be on the financial report of the head office by the end of the year. With the support of Mr. Wang and me behind the scenes, Zachary smoothly took the position of the president of Leo's family group. I also got 7% of the shares of Leo's family group. Plus the scattered shares I had collected before, now I have nearly 10% of the shares in my hands. I can be considered a major shareholder now. Only then did Leo realize the seriousness of the situation. He found me and angrily questioned me. Why are you doing this to me? I smiled and looked at him. Revenge. Leo narrowed his eyes. Just because I don't love you? Even now, he still hung up on love. I never realized before that Leo was such a lovesick fool. My cell phone rang at this moment. After answering the call, I smiled at Leo. Let's go to your company. If you're lucky, I'll give you a ride. Leo was a bit puzzled. You're going to what? Are you going there for the shareholders' meeting? Didn't they notify you in advance? I glanced at my watch. Hurry up, we'll be late. I opened the car door, and Leo followed. Your shares have been taken back by me. You're no longer a shareholder of Leo's family. When our two families cooperated, we gave shares to each other. After the marriage contract was terminated, we returned each other's shares. Now, Leo indeed doesn't have the shares of ABA Family Group in his hands, but I have the shares of Leo's family group. I looked at him as if he were an idiot. Get in the car quickly. This shareholders' meeting had only one purpose, which was to impeach the chairman. Although Leo's family group had just been listed, the internal struggles had never stopped. Before the company was listed, for the sake of this goal, everyone could still keep a temporary calm. Now that the company was listed, they started to fight to the death. If one defeated the other, what belonged to the other would become one's own. This was what Vincent meant. He had laid the groundwork long ago, and today was the day to reveal the answer. Leo's father was out of the game. Seeing me raise my hand, Leo's eyes turned bloodshot, and he rushed towards me. Ava, you. Zachary blocked in front of me. Brother, it doesn't matter if the company is gone. Don't lose your gentlemanly manners. Leo wanted to hit someone, and Zachary directly called the security guards in and dragged him out. Zachary and I looked at each other, and we both saw our satisfaction with this cooperation in each other's eyes. I thought Leo would keep being tough, but it turned out that he came to me after just a few days. He seemed to have dressed himself up carefully, but he still couldn't hide his haggard look. Ending fulfilled Lancey. I'm here to admit my mistake to you. My mistake was that I was blinded by her for a while, both my eyes and my heart, which made me mistakenly think that I liked her. Actually, you're the only one I've loved from the beginning to the end. We're childhood sweethearts and grew up together. The feelings between us are the strongest, aren't they? Could you give me another chance? I really can't live without you. I let him finish before I said, I'm busy. I have to go now. After getting in the car, I asked Jojo, did you record it? Every detail? Jojo showed me the video she recorded. I nodded. Okay, send it to her. I thought she would make a scene with Leo after watching the video, but instead, she came to make a scene with me. OFA, you're shameless. Leo is mine. He's already married to me, and you still come to seduce him. You're the mistress. My upbringing still couldn't hold back my eye roll. Leo is about to lose everything now. Only you regard him as a treasure. If I were you, I'd see what I could sell and sell it quickly, and then divorce him as soon as possible. Don't wait until he's in debt up to his neck, and you have to pay it off with him. She was stunned for a moment. The next second, she reacted, gave me a look, and turned around and ran away. At least she still had some sense. But it seemed that Leo didn't want to divorce. The video of the two of them arguing in the parking lot finally reached me. How dare you kick me when I'm down? If it weren't for you flirting with me, I wouldn't be in this situation today. Leo raised his hand and slapped her hard across the face. She was slapped to the ground by him. She was so angry that she screamed and got up to pounce on Leo. In the end, it turned into a fight between the two of them. The video was posted online. Without the help of online trolls, it had become a hot topic for onlookers. Later, I heard that she couldn't get a divorce, so she took the money from selling things and ran abroad. Zachary also brought me a piece of news. Leo had gone abroad to catch her abroad. I smiled meaningfully and nodded. Thank you for telling me this news. After saying goodbye to his I made a phone call and then went straight back to the company. A few days later, I got another piece of news. Leo was dead. He was tortured to death by several dreaded D. He did this abroad, exactly the same as how I died in my previous life. After getting the news, Zachary called me immediately. Eva, do you have to be so cruel? I pretended to be puzzled. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Zachary clicked his tongue and hung up the phone. I looked at the screen, put down my phone, got up, and walked to the window to look down. Everything on the ground looked like ants. It was the first time I observed the world from this angle. It was quite interesting. So, in this life, I'm going to keep climbing up and stand at a higher place. And not get involved with Jocelyn anymore. She grabbed my hand and asked me loudly. Stella, you're Stella, right? You're a lawyer now. If I had taken the college entrance examination back then, would I have? No. I let go of her hand and walked away quickly. For fear of being killed by this unlucky person again, just like in my previous life. The end of the full